In this true story I found on the internet, we will hear about when a father hears banging from the cellar and what he discovers. But first, we want to hear if you have any horror stories that you want to share with us. Comment down below. Now let's begin the story. As a single father, I had always been the rock for my two children, Emily and Jake. We lived in a quaint old house on the outskirts of a small town, and while it had its quirks, it was our sanctuary. But one fateful winter, our cozy home turned into a nightmare I could never have imagined. It all began on a frigid Friday evening. I had just put the kids to bed and was settling down in the living room with a book when I heard it, a series of loud, rhythmic bangs coming from the cellar below. My heart skipped a beat as I tried to dismiss it as some random noise from the old house. Perhaps it was just the pipes, I told myself. But as I listened, the banging grew louder and more persistent. It was as if someone or something was down there, relentlessly pounding on the cellar door. My instincts kicked in, and I rushed to the door leading to the basement, my children's safety my utmost concern. The cellar door was old and heavy, and as I struggled to unlock it, the electricity in the house began to flicker erratically. Lights dimmed and brightened in an eerie, irregular pattern. My heart pounded in my chest as I finally managed to open the door and descended into the dark, musty depths of the basement. I flicked on the cellar light, but it only added to the surreal atmosphere. Shadows danced along the walls, and the cold, damp air sent a shiver down my spine. The banging continued, now echoing through the narrow corridor. I cautiously made my way toward the source of the noise, my flashlight trembling in my trembling hand. And then I saw it, a heavy metal door at the end of the corridor, the source of the relentless banging. It was as if something was desperately trying to break free from behind it. Fear and curiosity gripped me, and I approached the door, my heart racing. Just as my hand touched the cold, rusted handle, the lights in the basement flickered one last time, and then died completely. I was plunged into darkness, my only source of light the feeble beam of my flashlight. In that moment, the banging reached a crescendo, and the cellar seemed to come alive with malevolent energy. I could hear whispers, muffled cries, and the sound of heavy breathing all around me, as if the very walls held dark secrets. Terrified, I fumbled for the door handle, desperate to escape this nightmare. Just as I turned it, the lights in the house surged back to life, and the banging ceased. The cellar was silent, as if nothing had ever happened. I stumbled back up the stairs, my heart still pounding, and locked the basement door. I knew I couldn't stay in that house any longer, not with my children's safety at risk. In the days that followed, I found a new place for us to live, far away from that old, sinister house. I never did find out what had caused the strange events in the cellar, and I didn't want to know. All I cared about was keeping my children safe and leaving that nightmare behind. To this day, I can't help but wonder what lurked in the darkness of our old home, and what would have happened if I had opened that metal door. But some mysteries are best left unsolved, and I pray that we will never encounter such terror again. Years passed, and my children grew up, putting that haunting memory behind them. But the scars from that night remained with me, a constant reminder of the inexplicable horrors that can lurk in the shadows of our lives. I had become even more protective of Emily and Jake, knowing that I would do anything to keep them safe from the unknown terrors of the world.